Shinpachi. You know, I thought we'd be able to get him to 5 stars just by farming the event, but nah. You're only able to get him to 4 stars, which is disappointing, but hey, he's a free character. I ain't gonna argue with that. So for those wondering, his talent, after he takes action, he applies 2 random debuffs to one enemy within 3 blocks. And I think at 6 stars, maybe 5 stars actually, it will be 3 random debuffs. But I could be wrong on that. Before battle, he applies 3 random debuffs to the enemy, and if the enemy has 5 or more debuffs, they become irritable, which causes them to deal 10% more increased damage, but they take 20% increased damage in battle, which does have its pros and cons. I mean, like, so let's say that Shinpachi gets targeted by a range attack, then the 20% increased damage dealt that he can do is kind of meaningless. But then again, if the enemy has something like attack and int down and also having damage dealt decrease, really makes the 10% increased damage that they can do seem kinda worthless as well. For the class mastery stones, everything you want: HP, defense, and magic defense. And then the same thing would go for the PvP stone as well. So if you're one of those crazy people, then you want something like HP, defense, magic defense, crit resist down, and crit damage resist. His best soldiers to use are the phalanx. Now these guys are great for tanking physical attacks. The warrior protector are also great as well for when up against magic attacks, so if there's a map where there's a lot of mages, then these guys will be able to take in more damage compared to the phalanx. But the one that does a better job at tanking magic damage is the Templar Knights, because they have a lot more magic defense. So pretty much use phalanx when up against a bunch of physical enemies and use Templar Knights when up against magic enemies. For the weapon, the Oath of Justice is going to be really amazing for him so that his defense or magic defense are increased, because remember, his main role is a tank. So you shouldn't really care all that much about attack. If you don't have the Oath of Justice, then the Dragon Slayer weapon could be another option since it can increase his HP. 2 more options you can do are the Seal Guardian and the Broken Star, since those 2 can increase his defense. These should be one of the more common SSRs that people will have, so hopefully you got one of these. If not, then you can use an SR weapon that will increase his defense. For the armor, Forbidden Defender armor, Aeolus, or the Bloodline. These are one of the best armors in the game that you can use, but there's a lot of different options that he can go for, like the Gaia, Tiamat, and even the Aeneas armor, if you don't have the above 3 that I mentioned. For the helmet, one of my favorite is the Aeneas helm, which just increases his HP and defense by quite a bit, but the Carbon or the Gaia helmet can be another option that you can use on him. Lastly, for the accessory, 2 best ones to use are the Overlord's badge and the Swordsmith medal. They both increase all stats by 5%, but I would recommend the Overlord the most since it is going to be the better one overall, since not only does it make him immune to attack and defense and magic defense down, but also it makes them immune to mobility reduction. And the thing about tanks is that they can't guard if they have their mobility reduced. So having this will ensure that they can still keep on doing that. The Swordsmith medal would be my second option if you don't have the Overlord's badge, but pretty much what it does is that it gives immunity to fixed damage and being silenced. But a lot of times, people would have this just for the fixed damage immunity. These 2 are actually really rare, so I don't blame you guys if you don't have any of these, but 2 more options I can think of that you can use instead is the Core of Gil. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it will increase your stats by 5%. But all it does is that it will increase your defense or magic defense by 5%, whichever is the lowest when being forced into battle. Another one you can do is the Wing of Shin Guard for more defense when being attacked, and that's all there is to it. For the enchants, you could do Full Moon. The reason why I have Full Moon was just because I took this off of someone else and put it on Shinpachi, because I'm not really trying to build them up. I only had these stuff on for the showcase. But I would recommend Steel the most, because that one offers 10% damage reduction with the 4-piece set. So yeah, that one I would recommend the most on him. But other viable options that you can do are Ice and Thorns. Alright, so hopefully that sums it up for those who are actually considering building up Shinpachi. So now, let's get on into his first awakening stage. Alright, so here we are, we're going to be facing against Almeda, Kagura, and then Jintoki. Now for the skills, these are what I'm gonna rock with. War is gonna be really helpful for the attack and int decrease. First aid, you know it, you love it, increases your HP to full. And then this 2C right here makes it so that he has a 20% chance so that both sides do not attack. And also when you use the skill, you heal yourself back to full. Oh yeah, and I did want to talk about his class runes. I only went with the right side path, which was the holy one. I think that was the right side path. And his holy class gives him more defensive stats compared to the left side one. So the right side will be so much better to increase his defensive capability. And then the soldiers, I'm gonna do the Royal Protector because this makes it so that it takes 30% less magic damage, and they can also do a pretty decent job at attacking. The Templar Knights I wouldn't really recommend to use unless your Shinpachi is an infantry class, because there's no way of getting past Kagura with these guys. I guess you could do Zealots as well, but just be careful because going up against the enemies, these guys might be really squishy. So yeah, I'll be rolling with the Royal Protector, so wish me luck because I have no idea if I'm going to be able to clear this on the first try. On the first turn, I just moved Shinpachi 2 blocks back, and so this makes it so he's in range of Almeda here. And I don't think this will one-shot because Shinpachi is not as strong. Okay, so he just AoE'd, but even if she did a single target attack, I'm pretty sure the Royal Protector will be able to finish her off. Just like that. So yeah, that's one way of getting past Almeda. Just move 2 blocks and then she can't do her AoE. And same thing goes for Kagura. Just move out of range until you get in the range of her. And so that way you can easily deal with her. Now Jintoki is of course gonna be a menace. Just wait until all of his attacks wear off, and so once he is in range, just go for the attack. And Jintoki shouldn't be able to do anything with all the debuffs you can provide. And if you still have problems with Jintoki, you can go on the defensive terrain. And if he still did too much damage, you can always just heal it off. And that should be no problem because he literally has 2 healing skills. So yeah, with all those debuff, it can be stupid easy. Now for his 3C skill, which does have a 3-turn cooldown. It has a passive whereas it reduces the damage taken by 15%, and he is able to guard nearby allies within 1 block. This is an active skill that teleports him to allies within range, and I'm pretty sure the range is 5 blocks. And he gives them a buff where they take 20% reduced AoE damage and becomes immune to all debuffs for 2 turns. This will also increase his guard range by 2 for 3 turns. A pretty solid 3C skill. I really do like the reduced damage taken by 50% on top of the other skill, which also decreases his damage taken. And not only that, he gives 1 ally immune to all debuffs and is also a guard skill at the same time. Pretty good, pretty good. Alright, so let's go ahead and show off his skill animation here. Alright, so I'm not even gonna repeat myself like I always do, but so I'm just gonna come out and say it. That sounded weird. That sounded so wrong. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do his second awakening stage because I'm gonna assume that like with Jintoki and Kagura's second awakening stage, that this one will also be a little bit tricky and difficult. So let's go on ahead. Alright, so here we are. I'm not gonna change anything on Shinpachi just because I don't really have anything else better. I mean, I guess I could use Consecration, I guess. I'll just put that on. And I'm gonna keep his same soldiers like last time. But if you do have his other class ruined and have those skills, you can definitely make good use of it here. But I don't plan on unlocking his left side class because I'm not really going to be using him like at all probably. So I'm just going to hope for the best here and see if I can clear or not. Because like I always say with these stages, usually with the other 3 characters, they can easily carry you. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to have Jintoki AoE so that Shinpachi can't guard. I am going to open up with Kagura so that she can hurt Jintoki. And it's not enough to finish him off, but that's what I was expecting. And then I'm gonna have Almeda just finish off Jintoki. I'm just gonna use a skill right here. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, that's how you deal with Jintoki right there. And Kagura might go down here, but that's fine. Would that be fine? I'm pretty sure that's fine. As long as I have Jintoki, everything should be a-okay. Ooh, and Shinpachi still can guard her, but... Oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have Shinpachi actually just AoE. I mean, not AoE. Use the ward to dispel. And hopefully that dispels it. Okay. And of course it did not dispel it. Of course it didn't. So I'm just gonna open up with Almeda's AoE here. Okay, good. This thing does dispel a buff. So just do this. And then, I'm just gonna AoE right here on Almeda to damage her a little bit so that Jintoki has a better chance of one-shotting her. Oh, not like that, but like this. There we go. Then have our Shinpachi just attack the enemy Shinpachi. Was not enough, but I don't know why he keeps on. Oh, because of Samurai, yeah. Samurai attacks from 2 blocks, so that's why he's going after him. But the thing about the Samurai is that as part of the skill, they don't have melee damage penalties. But yeah, there we go. That was Shinpachi's second awakening stage. A whole lot easier than I expected. Granted, I was able to keep Jintoki alive this time. Just always make sure that you're able to take out the enemy Jintoki as soon as you can, and then the rest of the battle should be pretty easy, especially if you have Jintoki alive. And now that we completed the second awakening stage, let's go ahead and show off his 3C skill. Alright, so just to recap, this lets him take in 50% less damage, and the main part of his 3C is that it lets him guard for 2 blocks, and he's able to guard for physical and magic attacks, by the way, and it will also make him teleport to allies within 5 blocks, which lets them have 20% reduced AoE damage and becomes immune to all kinds of debuffs for 2 turns. Let's go ahead and, actually, I'm gonna go down here just for a little show, and then teleport to Jintoki. Okay, so yeah, all it does is that it increases his guard range, but for Jintoki, immune to all debuffs. Oh, and actually the AoE damage reduction, that it's rather a 3C icon rather than a different one. That's pretty neat. You know, I kind of wish Shinpachi gets those as well. So pretty much, it would give him the buffs that he would give to his teammate, and not just him getting the guard range. So yeah, I kind of wish he got the taken AoE less damage and immunity to all debuffs, but make it last 1 turn for him, because the 3C does have a 3-turn cooldown, so that it pretty much lets him spam it almost all the time, if you get me. Or it could be something else. It doesn't have to be those 2 buffs. It could be something like a buff that reduces his chance of being critically hit, because he already has so much damage resist in his kit. So why not just give him more, you know? Like a little bit more, not like go over the top with it, you know? But I mean, yeah, I get it. He's an SR character. No one will really use him all that much. But I think people would agree with me for more love with the SR characters. And I do kind of want to experiment right here. I want to see if Jintoki can actually one-shot the dragon here. Oh no, oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so I used the light mirror on Elma for Emperor Lobina, and I have not noticed, but it just kept on stacking. And oh my god, look at that. So yeah, with stats like that, I'm pretty sure Jintoki can one-shot. Let's take a look. It's done on skill animation, battle animation I meant. And let's go ahead. Oh my god! The man Jintoki. But this isn't about Jintoki. So in my opinion, I would say that even with all the damage resist that Shinpachi has with his skills and the debuffs that he can provide, I kind of wish that not only does he get the guard range increase, but also give himself more crit resist. Something like 10% crit resist. And I do get it with like SR characters. No one really ever cares a whole lot about them, I would say. There are times where I still use them here now and then, but I really wish that they would go crazy with them, you know? Because the thing about Langrisser is that you can still get through content using R and SR characters. It's just that with SSR characters, they do the job so much easier and faster. And that's the part that I really love about this game too. Not all characters are bad in general. It's just that there's always going to be one character that outperforms the other one. And essentially taking what they do and they do it so much better. And there we go. That was Shinpachi's 3C showcase. Totally not a bad character, especially the newer players coming into the game. Although those newer players won't easily be able to get the 3C because you do need the characters to be level 70. So that means you will have only access to the other guard skill, which only guards for physical attacks. But even then, Shinpachi is a pretty solid tank. Very unique at what he does, which makes him pretty good. Plus, with his other skills that can give him damage resist as a passive is really good. Definitely go with the right side path, which is his holy class, so that way he's more defensive. His left side path makes him kind of better at being an attacker, which people might do with him, but considering Shinpachi's kit and how he works, makes him better at being a tank. But that does not make him better compared to any other tank, like for say Ledin and Kristan. So yeah, if you're one of those newer players, definitely get Shinpachi right away, because I mean, yeah, he's a free character. Why else would you not get him? Plus, you can get him to 4 stars right away. And I said in another video that you can get him to 5 stars right away. I thought that was the case, but it turned out it wasn't. I have no idea why they didn't do that, because I mean, why not? And him being a protagonist is very good, because with Matthew, you can get his faction buff, so that will help him quite sufficiently. And I would say that getting his 3C would help him a lot, but by that point, when you reach level 70, you will probably already have like other better tanks. But that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and feel free to let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about Shinpachi. But yeah, thanks for watching. Your fellow Z.